now we're going to take some of these components, and I'm going to show the fabled contraptions that I have learned over the years. So I'm going to build this like normal, or like it should be, and I'm going to explain exactly how this all works out. So I'm just going to do a quick build. Just checking that I'm not overstepping my boundaries. Okay. Is that going in the right way? Oh, it's not connected. I'm a fool. There. Okay, there go the others. Now, does it? No, it doesn't. Excellent. What I've done here is recreated in a very miserable fashion the classic 2x2 piston door. So we don't have to sit with doors all the time. We can just... I've used levers. It's my personal preference to use levers. You can use pressure plates if you want. That's another thing. Pressure plates are absolutely amazing. Love them. And when you stand on them, they emit a redstone signal. So if I stood on that pressure plate, it activates it. A lot of people use pressure plates and then they wire the redstone underneath. It's quite simple. I just prefer levers. It gives me a more sense of a more controlled environment, so I can do what I want just by tapping instead of just walking over it. But I'm just OCD that way, so meh. So what we have here, as you can see, is that as we flick the lever on and off, it's opening and closing it. And what's happening here is this lever, as we explained before, sends out your source of energy. As you can see here, it seems directly connected, as opposed to this, where there's a block in the way. Now, why is that? Redstone can power one full single block in all the directions, just like your redstone torch. In all the directions, including above it. It cannot power below it. Never below. So you cannot power anything underneath. Okay, it's powering this block, that's why I'm getting a signal out there. So what we've done here is it powers one full block, and from that block in any direction that you've got, as you can see here, it's powering this piece of redstone. So it is now this piece of redstone is also powering that block, which will power this bottom piston, and that redstone dust sitting on top powering the top piston over there. And we exactly wash, rinse, repeat with the other side. So that piece of redstone is powering this top piston, this piece of redstone is powering that block, and that block is powering that bottom piston. And the reason why we do this with blocks is, notice how they connect. Redstone connects to each other. But say you've got two lines. Here's a line, there's a line. And they do separate things. Say, that opened your door, and so let's say these were two different doors. This opened your front door to your house. That opened your garage door. Normally, you keep the lines separate like that, but if the lines are connected, we get what is called crosstalk. And suddenly, you have your front door and garage door opening at the same time, which we don't want happening, and it causes problems. And that's the reason why we can have blocks in place to obscure the other line from it. Never more than that. So we have blocks in place which block off this signal. I mean, yeah, can they go in? Yes, they can. Do we want them to? No. The way you can bypass that, if you really need to, is using a redstone repeater. Signal into the repeater. Repeater powers not on top of the block, through the block. And that in turn powers your 1, 2, 3. In this case, the 3 others and the 4th one on top, which will power your sources outward. Without the repeater, it'll just power the block on top, not your other sides. And that's the reason why we have a block in place here. So we needed to get around this without looking at redstone. We need to have it a bit of a flush position. I'm going to put this here. Turn that back on. So we have our doors and we want to go outside. We don't want to keep our doors open in case we come back at night time. There's a zombie suddenly walking in our house. Boom. Close it. But notice what happens. If somebody were to be inside, they can flick this lever all they want. It's not doing a damn thing. They have to wait for you to come back and reactivate this lever to reopen the doors, go in, and now we can close the doors from inside and open them, close them, open them, close them. Very useful. So what is happening here with the levers is the lever sends a pulse into the block, into the redstone here, and that block which powers the pistons. But to get both sides, we need to have a system that connects them. So we have to go underneath. If you really want this to be properly flush and not cause problems, we're going underneath. And because, depending on how long the signal strength is, I like to use a repeater so that we can not have weak signal strength all the way to the other side. And that hits it there, which connects to this piece of redstone powering that piston, to this block which powers the bottom piston. And we have our full set of double doors. Now, as I said, we can use pressure plates if we really want to. And the way to do this is quite simple. We just need a bit of added touches. Nope, cover up the void. We don't like the void. No.
Oh, you need to use the pressure plate.
Just use good old-fashioned redstone for now. Oh, it's the fucking... It's the levers. Yep, that sums it. Okay. Right. there, I've set it up now perfectly. So we've got our pressure plates in place. We step on them, and immediately they open up. Come off of them, they close. This is the general use. Pressure plates, when we have something stepping on them or an item on it, it will activate it. And what happens here is the pressure plates, when they're stood on, sends a pulse. This is one of the very few ways that we can send a pulse downwards that I know of. So we're sending a pulse into this block and into the redstone directly beneath it and running into this line. Now remember what I said, we can turn these torches off by sending a pulse into them. So when we're standing on the pressure plate, that piece of that piece of redstone is now powering that torch to turn off, which in turn turns the line of redstone off and depowers the piston so that they pull back and open that door. It's quite a nifty little thing to have. And it doesn't matter which of the pressure plates, you can stand on one, the other, or both. So long as you stand on one of these, and they've got a bit of that dust below it, they can turn off the torches that are on either side, which turns off the power source here. I hope you guys are following me so far, and this really isn't brain science. Go through the video again and again up until you sort of get an understanding. You click and you go, oh shit, that's what he meant. Keep going through it a million times if you have to. And that is the power of sticky pistons. We love them. They are great. They are excellent. And also the power of pressure plates and, in my case, levers. Not that that's going to work now, but man, could just do it that way since we've replaced our input and output. And you've just got to, you know, it's like the game of Minecraft. You've got to play around with it. It's like playing with Legos. You've got to figure out which piece fits where and what they do. And once you've figured that out, it's amazing. It opens up a whole new world. So that's our classic 2x2 piston door. I'm going to have to love and leave you guys at that. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. It's always free. I do so enjoy making these videos. There will be also a link in the description for some of those of you that would love to help me grow my channel. And I will see you all later.